Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're having a wonderful, spooky day. This is part 3 of my top 10 favorite horror movies. If you have made it this far, I applaud you. I applaud you for making it through all of the awkwardness, all of the bad lighting. As you can see, I'm doing this during the day in a more flattering camera angle, because that's not so flattering, is it? First on this list is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out in 1974. It's about a family of cannibals. Yum. And oddly enough, it has nothing to do with Texas, like it's based on a real story. But it never even happened in Texas. It's based off a man named Ed Gein. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre seems to roll off the tongue a lot better than Wisconsin Chainsaw Massacre. So we follow a group of friends, and they went to the cemetery because a family member is in that cemetery, and they've heard that there were people or someone digging up graves, so they went to see if their family member's grave was fine. They come across a hitchhiker, and that hitchhiker is really odd. And it kind of leads them into their demise. They go to the house that has the horrible family in it, with, of course, the iconic Leatherface is in there as well. And a lot of people say that this movie is gory, but it's actually not. There's not a lot of blood at all in it. It leaves you a lot to your imagination. And something that's interesting about this movie is that a lot of what you see happened to Sally, I believe her name is, the main character, actually happened to her. That's why she looks so terrified the entire time.
That's crazy! You gotta make us stop! Please!
A scene where he has her in a bag and he's like hitting her with a stick. The director told him really hit her with a stick. The scene where they take off the bag from her head and she's tied to the chair and sees all the family. That's all her cutting her finger open. That's real. So that was genuine terror that she had on her face. I would not be happy.
Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end. Heidi-ho!
Next on this list is Child's Play. Child's Play came out in 1988. I do not do dolls. Dolls really freak me out. Although Child's Play didn't freak me out, I don't know, I just like it. It's really a neat movie. But I don't like dolls. But Child's Play didn't freak me out. But the concept of a doll trying to kill you is not okay with me. So we start with Charles Lee Ray, who is running from the police, and in order to get away, because he was shot, and in order to get away and survive, he knows voodoo, and he puts himself into this good guy doll. And then we follow this mother and child, and the child wants a good guy doll, so the mother buys it off the street, and it happens to be the doll that Charles Lee Ray put himself into. So chaos just ensues, as if with all of these movies it's just a bunch of chaos. Wonderful, wonderful chaos. And we soon realize, or the mother soon realizes, that it really is the doll that's doing all of this. And her son was completely right the entire time, because he tells her, Chucky did it. But of course she's not going to believe him that a doll is doing all of this stuff.
Kiss me, fat boy!
Next on this list is It, 1990, the original. So the more I think about the remake, the more I understand it and can see why people like it. I personally didn't like it very much, but I've heard that it is very close to the books, which I never read the books, so I'm just going based off of what I liked from the original, which is why I didn't really care for the remake. It was just very different. But I picked the original It, with Pennywise the clown, original Pennywise the clown, who, if you really think about it, especially if you have a clown phobia, he's really terrifying. He shows you what you're afraid of, what you're absolutely most afraid of, your true nightmares.
I'll kill you all! I'll drive you crazy and I'll kill you all! I'm every nightmare you ever had. I am your worst dream come true. I'm everything you ever were afraid of.
And drives you into insanity to either kill yourself or he kills you. That's scary, especially when you're a child and you're dealing with this all the way to adulthood. Oh my goodness. So I'm not going to explain what it is about because it's basically the same as the remake. So the storyline is the same as the original, which is great. That's good. I like that. So this one's rather short then. The original is on my list. I like to watch it, not very often, but I do enjoy watching it a lot. If anyone ever says they want to watch it, I'm totally down for it. My dad thought it was boring, so he never finished it. So maybe I'll show it to him and make him watch it.
I'm afraid!
Don't be afraid!
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Next is The Fly, 1986. This might be the first remake that I ever talk about, mainly because I love the acting, the actor choices that they made, and the special effects makeup is out of this world. It's so great. It's disgusting, but it's great, and someone made that. That's awesome. It wasn't all computerized or CG. Someone took the time to make that. Wow. So The Fly is about a man played by Jeff Goldblum. I don't remember his name. And he's a scientist and he's working on, I can't think of the name. Teleportation. I don't know why I forgot how to, the word teleportation. I really want teleportation to be a thing. It should be. It's 2018. Well, he's working on teleportation, and all of his experiments are not going well at all. At all. Not working. Until he finally does it. It works. He transported himself. And Gina Davis is there. She's a reporter, I believe. And they are in a relationship now. But unfortunately, he didn't know that there was a fly in the telepod with him. So slowly but surely, he starts developing more fly-like symptoms or aspects about himself. And it's really rather tragic, especially because from Gina Davis's character's perspective, you're seeing someone that you love so much turn into this thing, and you don't know what to do or how to help them, and you just feel kind of helpless, and that's really sad. One of the worst scenes is when he's in the mirror and he's taking just body parts off of him that are just falling off. So then, no. Next up is Funny Games, 1997. This is a Austrian film. I saw this when I was in college. I was in a horror movie class, and they showed this to us, and I fell in love with it. I would say this was the only movie that he showed us that I took it with me after the class ended. There is a remake of it, and I need to make the time to watch it, just because it is a shot-for-shot remake. So if you don't want to, watch the Austrian one, it's still fine, but if you don't want to read subtitles, you can watch the remake. I give permission to watch a remake. So Funny Games is about two men go into a house, they knock on the door, and they ask for eggs. They ask his family for some eggs, and the family lets them in. And the moment the family lets them in, that's when all the bad stuff happens. They seem like regular, normal people, but they're not. They take this family hostage and they just torment them, and it breaks the fourth wall a lot, so that's interesting. The bad guys will turn to the camera and talk to us, and it's weird because it's like it takes you out of it in a good way, and it almost makes you feel uncomfortable because you're not rooting for them. Well, I'm not rooting for them. And there's one scene that made me love this movie, but I'm not going to talk about it. I know it's like, why bring it up? Because maybe it's like a teaser for you to watch it. But it's not fair, is all I have to say. Next on our list is The Sixth Sense. This movie came out in 1999. It gave us the popular "I see dead people" quote.
I see dead people.
And this movie is made by M. Night Shyamalan when he was great. I mean, he's come back. Split was really amazing. I mean, I know it's like a trilogy, but Split was great. He's back. But this movie follows a boy named Cole and Bruce Willis's character, I don't remember his name. And this little boy sees dead people. Basically, they come to him for help and for guidance on kind of how to pass on or just to tell their story. And some people say that it's not scary. I thought it was scary. Mainly the scene, I think this is like the scene that like everyone talks about. But when he's going to the bathroom and he sees like the boy that walks into his room, he has like a hole in his head because he like played with his dad's gun. But when he goes into his little tent that he made and he's hiding in there and you see his breath and then the tent starts coming apart. Yeah, that really is what freaked me out. That stayed with me for a very long time. But when I watched it again when I was older, I realized that it's actually really sad when you hear that little girl's story. It's very heartbreaking. And that's what this movie is really good at doing, is being heartbreaking at the same time as being scary. So since this is an M. Night Shyamalan film, there is a twist if you haven't seen it. And if you don't know M. Night Shyamalan stuff, he always has a twist in all of his movies. Or most. I don't think he does twists very much anymore. But in most of his movies, he does twists. I'm not going to reveal that, obviously. So just watch it if you haven't. Next is Cabin in the Woods, made in 2011. This movie is amazing. Surprisingly amazing. It's kind of a caricature on all of the stereotypical tropes of a story about kids in a cabin in the woods. But it's so much more than that as well. It's like this whole bigger picture of gods and appeasing the gods, and I don't know. It's so much more than just kids in a cabin in the woods, while still being just about kids in a cabin in the woods. And it's definitely very Evil Dead-like and has that comedy aspect in it. Yeah, so this is a short one too. I really don't want to say more. I really, really don't. So if you haven't seen it, watch it. Even, I think my mom watched it and she liked it. It's fun for the whole family. No, just kidding. It's not for the whole family. Don't show this to your children.
Well, sometimes that is better.
Next up is Pet Sematary, made in 1989. This is another Stephen King adapted book into a movie, and this follows a family who loses their son, and the father already knows about Pet Sematary because their cat had died, Church, and they buried the cat in the pet cemetery, and Church came back to life. So after the tragic death of their son, Gage, the father gets the bright idea of digging up his body and burying Gage in Pet Sematary. And Gage's death was really avoidable it was. I know accidents happen, I know, but just watch your children. Just watch your children while they're playing so they don't run out into the street. I mean, it's easy for me to say, I don't have kids, but just watch your children. So the mother goes home. I can't remember why there's two main storylines in this movie, but I just really remember the father engage. I know the mother goes home and she has like flashbacks of her sister, which that's really creepy. But of course Gage comes back and he's the cutest little boy. He really is. He's so adorable. And I guess that's what makes it more scary, but it's at the same time, it's like if I saw him like, oh, come here. No, then that's what gets you, his cuteness. And so of course when you bury anything in Pet Sematary and they come back, they don't come back the same. They come back evil. And so that's what Gage is, this little evil child doing some bad things to people. And so the father has to figure out how to stop Gage and how to, you know, make him dead again, which is really sad. Next up on this list is The Witch, made in 2015. This is another movie that's very refreshing for me. I absolutely love witches. And I think this is one of the best witch movies that I've ever seen that's genuine in a sense. Other witch movies I like are like The Craft. That's pretty, I mean, that actually is rather genuine in a sense of witches, not dark witches. Anyways. But it's, when you see her, which you don't see the witch a lot, but when you do, I remember thinking, that's what a witch looks like your old 1910s style Halloween witch. I was like, that's how a witch looks like, that's how a witch sounds. Oh my gosh, it was great, and it's just a quick glimpse of her when you see her face, but it's so great. Anyways, so we follow a family in the 1630s in New England, and they came from England. And they are leaving their village that they were living at because the church there decided to go with the New Testament, and this family is a believer in the Old Testament. So they decided just to leave and make it on their own. And once they do, that's when it's kind of, I don't know, a curse that was put on them, and nothing goes well. They lose their child at the beginning. One of the goats' milk doesn't come out, it's blood. And then the twins, I think they're twins, I think fraternal twins. The twins talk to Black Phillip, he's the goat that's there. And then they turn against the older sister, accusing her of being a witch. It escalates really fast. Really fast. But I absolutely love this movie. I knew I liked it when I first saw it, but the more I watch it, the more I love it, and the more I start to see little things that I didn't notice before. Yeah, give The Witch a watch. Witch watch.
I can hold my breath for a long time!
Last but certainly not least is Creepshow, made in 1982. My dad showed me this movie, and I loved it so much, except for the last story. I didn't like that one. I'm not going to show any images of why. I just don't. It deals with the type of bug that I don't like. And that's the end of that. Creepshow is a movie that has 5 stories in it, and the stories are this man that finds a meteor. I don't know the order of the other ones, but I know there's another one with revenge. There's a few with revenge, but there's one with revenge and drownings. There's one about Father's Day. There's one about a husband that does not like his wife. And then there's the last one with a scientist and bugs that I do not like. My favorite story has to be the Father's Day one. I'm just going to show a clip of my favorite scene for you guys.
Father's Day. And I got my cake. Happy Father's Day.
So I think I like it so much because it's like a zombie. He is a zombie. He's coming back from the dead. He's a zombie. But it's 5 stories. I'm not going to talk about what each story is truly about. Stephen King's in the first one as the farmer who finds the meteor and touches it like a dummy. But it makes sense that Stephen King's in the first one because he wrote this movie. Or he wrote the stories. The 5 stories that was made into a movie. Another Stephen King's just great. He's amazing. I mean, it goes without saying. But this movie's really fun. The colors, I absolutely love the color choices in this. They're bright and vibrant. It's supposed to be based off of a comic book. You can see that with the beginning intro. And I absolutely love the bright. Maybe that's why I liked it when I was growing up and my dad showed it. Like, oh, bright, pretty colors. But the pinks and the blues and the purples and the greens. It just gives a really nice atmosphere and a really good feeling of this is still a comic book that we are in. And I absolutely love it. That's it. We did it. We did all 3 parts. We're done. Oh my goodness. So again, if you made it this far and watched all the way through, way to go you. Really, way to go. So I hope this one wasn't too long. I tried not to make it too long. But if you liked it, awesome. And if you didn't, that's okay. That's fine. As you know, Vlogoween is still continuing, uploading a video every single day of October. And I'm having a lot of fun with this. I really, really am. I hope you guys are too. I hope you're enjoying what you're seeing, having fun with me, laughing with me, cringing at me, whatever it is that makes you happy. I hope that you're happy. So, of course, because of Vlogoween, I will be back tomorrow with another video. And if you like this video, you are welcome to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you'd like to follow me on my other social media, they are also linked down below. And I will see you tomorrow for the next one. Bye!